His question, go ahead.
Yeah. Ben Franklin said all mankind is divided in three classes. Those that are immovable, those that are movable, and those that move. And clearly Intel moved during the time that you were there. However, when this device came along, Intel wasn't there. I'm just curious as to your opinion as to what happened and what Intel needs to do to actually start seeing Intel inside a device such as this going forward.
Let's have both of our panelists comment on that. On the mobile, Intel missing the mobile computing boom, and what could they do about it?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can answer that question. One of the things, however, that does concern me, I mean, having been a shareholder in Intel from almost day one, in other words, as soon as there was a stock purchase plan, even before it went public, it struck me that the financial media has almost always had one position regarding Intel. They got lucky this time. They'll never do it again. And that statement seems to have been repeated roughly every year that Intel. And in fact, the other thing is, you know, Intel and AMD are, in many cases, the major sources for parts. And it almost seems to me that the media, if AMD shows a good quarter, then the media says, you better sell your Intel stock because AMD is taking over the market. And if AMD has a bad quarter, they say, sell your Intel stock because the market is evaporating. But they rarely have ever said anything positive about Intel, and yet it has been, like Alan says, one of the most remarkable companies.
I would say that you know, the biggest mistake companies make is falling in love with their strategy and doing what made them successful, because you need to do something different to be successful in the future. I would say that this is a zero profit win. These products all have AIM processors inside. ARM processors that are licensed as a part of a chip. The chips are designed custom for each particular device, so they're really custom parts. ARM collects about 10 cents royalty on every chip that's made. There is no profit for Intel in this particular device. I don't know that any component manufacturer is making a terrible lot of money. If it's anybody, it's got to be in the non-volatile memory part of it, or maybe the display or something. What Intel has done, and I don't know that they did this on purpose, because I wasn't there, but if I look at it, what's happening is this: everything's in the cloud today. Everything's out there in the servers. You quoted the 85% market share in servers. IDC in today's Mercury News, there's an article. IDC says Intel has 90.2% of the server market, but there's a little company who's going to kill them, right? Like you said, this little company is going to kill them, and ARM's going to wind up killing it. Where's the money? What's the profit on the product? Just like Intel got out of the DRAM business to get into the microprocessor business, they shouldn't be trying to make the processors in this thing or in iPads.
Okay, so
they need to make server.
What Dave is saying is that the profit margins on these little gadgets for microprocessors is minuscule. And yeah, we're going to make it up in volume, but the profit margins on servers is very high.
Which is where everything is. This is just an I/O device. This is like a dumb turbo.
More and more
almost.
stuff is going into the, more and more computing is going into the cloud, whether it's software-defined networking, software-defined storage, blah, blah, blah. It's going to have Intel processors in those servers.
Well, I think that's part of the problem, too. The media thinks that somewhere out there's a cloud that's doing computing. They don't realize it's computers doing the computing that people call.
Okay, next